What just happened? What just happened?
You didn't tell us.
Really?
Really, you didn't.
When I point at the screen.
You didn't point at the screen.
And I come over here to turn on the live.
I just saw you turn it on.
And so what you're saying is that we're on the air right now.
Yeah. That's a good conversation to still have.
It is. And that's why I said I'm probably somebody out there listening that can probably help you with that.
Yes.
Because we do not educate ourselves.
We do not educate ourselves. Black History Month tip.
Yeah. That part was.
This is the best
it's the truth.
Black History tip that you will ever take. Okay.
Ever take. I mean, but yeah, while we were on break, and then we came in and cut into what we were talking about. We were talking about finances and different ways that you should, if you ever, tax season is coming up. We can talk about that then and use that as an example.
Tax season is here.
Tax season is here, but refunds are coming. You already got your refund?
No.
Oh, okay. So
that's the thing.
Have you guys?
They don't send.
I filed.
They don't send my W-2 to my job anymore.
Oh.
They send it to the address.
Yeah.
And I hadn't updated so they sent it to the wrong address.
So now you gotta wait.
So now I gotta go take like a $5 money order to my job so they can actually give it to me so I can do my taxes and get my money.
Well, you have till April 15th. So.
Well, I'm not worried about it. I've never been late.
You still have time, but we were discussing.
But I want my money, so.
Right, we were discussing, how to, different choices people have on spending lump sums of money. And so a lot of times it's popular that when people get those tax returns that they go out and buy shoes and all these things that depreciate in value versus investing them, properly. So we were discussing that, and I was talking about the difficulties or the common habits in Black culture, African American culture. Financial literacy it's not as prevalent as it is in other cultures. To talk about credit, to be educated about FICO scores and IRAs or IRAs or Roth IRAs or IRAs and those type of things, and that language is just not common. I'm not saying it does not happen. Mm-hmm. It's just not common in Black culture, which I believe is very detrimental to our culture and our race. To understand ownership, understanding having assets and properties and that type of thing. So I was saying that, it got hard for me and I had to max out my credit cards.
Yeah.
It got really hard. And although you don't want to do that, you want to have a balance and not have to spend the entire thing. I am working to get that back. And I was so close to that golden number everybody wants for their credit, which is, 700.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that isn't. But if you're at a 700 credit score, you're doing pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It goes up, what, to 850?
Yeah. So 620. You can do like first time home buyers. One of my cousins, I want to give her a shout out. She was one of the honorees for our legacy luncheon, Marthella McWilson. She's with Catalyst Real Estate. So I'm giving them a free plug. I'll go ahead and tag them today. Marthella McWilson is a real estate agent. She's an advocate for financial, literacy with African Americans and home ownership as well. Mm-hmm. But she's saying we can work with you with, 620. It's not that hard, but you have to run your credit, not be scared of it, and know where you are. So once I found that out and found out where I was, it was kind of like a race to the 700.
And I think some people get scared when they know that they're in a bad situation.
Yeah.
If you don't know where you're at,
then you can't
do anything about it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because there's such a historical significance to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Like, if we even just go back to what happened immediately after slavery, and I'm talking specifically for African American folks, mm-hmm. you go into sharecropping, where you are being credited and basically being given credit for your work by your sharecropper, mm-hmm. who was not interested in your well-being. Right? He wants to keep you there. Therefore, you could never pay the man back. Right. You're always going to owe something. You're going to owe him for your room. You're going to owe him for the tools that he gives you to use. Right. Mm-hmm. You're always going to owe him, and you can never get out of that. Then you move forward. We had a bunch of farming loans that were given out. Right. Those people were all taught a lot of this financial literacy. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you this money. This is how you use it. This is how you farm. This is what you do. Right? People of color have really never been given that. Right. In terms of assistance from the government, in terms of how to use and finance their money. Right. And so,
well, that's where the whole 40 acres and the mule comes from.
And there's been no money as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So you guys get out there, get educated. I'll go ahead and say it, Marthella McWilson. Maybe I'll post it. I'll share her information on the Rise and Shine 209 page where she gives a free consultation. Your initial consultation is free, so you can at least know where you are. So that's my Black History Month tip. That's what we're going to do. Now, all people, she welcomes all cultures and races, but, we'll go ahead and do that as well. So,
absolutely.
Alex?
So I was going to talk about the protests that are going on in Mexico. Regarding the wall, the violence in Mexico that's happening. But I had forgot about this video that I had seen yesterday, I believe. Wanted to see if you guys had seen it. Maybe I should, if you guys have. It's so there's a school in Virginia that showed a video to its students. And the video is talking about white guilt. And a lot of the parents are upset about that because they don't want to have their kids taught about white guilt.
I'm guessing they're white.
Yeah.
Okay. Just clarifying.
So it talks about white guilt and affirmative action. And it's high school students. So it's shown to high school students. What it is, it's a track meet.
In the video is of a track meet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I do remember that.
So
I've seen that. Yep, I've seen it. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's a track meet, and if you see it here, Mr. London, there is a few people on the line, from white to darker. But so the race starts. Boom. The white people are off to the races, but the black people are blocked from starting the race.
Why are they blocked?
Well, if you watch, what happens here is that every time they go around the track, years are counting off. So I think it started in like the 1400s. So you see where it's going.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's going all through slavery.
Gotcha.
And
I think you should post that on the page.
I will post it
so people
on the
will be
page.
able to actually see that.
1690.
Yeah. So then it goes all the way through till it was 1964.
Before they even start running.
Yeah, was that what? Yeah, I believe that's what it is. And all through the time, you see
the white people get to run off first, and the black people just have to sit there and wait.
And as the white people are running, they have a jar which has a money sign, and it gets bigger and bigger as through the years. And as they get older, they give it to another white person, and they run with it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you see, they're the only ones running that race
until
64.
Yeah, 1964.
Now the black people are starting to run, but every time they run, something happens. Like they might trip over something, or there's an obstacle, and then it'll show you. There's like poor schooling. I forgot what the other.
Yeah, there's various things.
Race inequality, and it just goes through that, and so basically that's what it's talking about: slavery, genocide, segregation, and at the end it talks about how affirmative action kind of helps the race, helps you get in the race when they've been running ahead of you for so long.
Because they still have affirmative action in other parts. I always forget that there's still affirmative action in the rest of the country. Because we don't have it here in California anymore.
And so, I mean, it's obvious why these parents are upset, because it's showing that if you look at this, white people have had a head start for X amount of years. And still, when everybody else is in the race, there's all these other obstacles that they have to face and are challenged by that they can't catch up and will never catch up. And that's basically the moral of the story, I guess, or what they were trying to show, is that affirmative action kind of helps that by implementing and putting people in the situation, in the race, when they normally wouldn't be able to. I don't know how you guys feel about affirmative action, but I thought the race, the cartoon, was very powerful because it shows you how the race has been. I mean, we've talked about it. I don't know how many shows we've talked about it. Me and you, London.
Give me the quarters. Every time.
If I had a quarter. No, you know what? Living in the South for 13 years, let me just say, I understand affirmative action, but because America is America, it works both ways. So, affirmative action was to, essentially for blacks or for colored.
For women, too.
And women, for colored people. But the same now goes for us. So for the things that we fought to have, we want to start an all black or all minority company. Now we have to invite somebody because of affirmative action laws. And it was like, wait, this was built for us so we can have these things. And now, because of the law that was built for us to have these things, we still have to mix it up in those states. So,
So you're saying, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that you can't take everything.
Right. It's like affirmative action was built to give us this leg up.
It's like, we're going to help you out, but that doesn't mean that you can.
Yeah, just have it on your own.
Keep anybody else down.
Yeah. And so I really don't see anything wrong with that, but it's like that give and take, you want to have the leg up and the support. And these are the things that are trying to get our culture to a certain place because of the different obstacles. But once we get to that place, we're still like, yeah. But wait, there's more. We can let you go ahead and start a company or an all, black medical center for black women. And that's one thing that I loved about being in the South and being black. And I tell people this all the time because there's some people that battle me about attending an HBCU, historically black college university. It's the culture enrichment. It's understanding who you are and where you come from and how your place in America, which is very diverse in a country that I still love. But being in the South, I was able to go to doctors that will be considered specialists here in California to say, you know what, we're going to do health just for African American women. So we can learn about the genetics, what works for us, by us. And if I tried to get that here, I would have to pay extra. Yeah. That's considered a specialist in other states. But, just using that as an example, opening up a clinic for just black women to help black women. And then you have to have an other there if they apply. We got to hire that receptionist or that doctor to mix it up a bit because of affirmative action. So
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying there's more.
Right. I mean, it's like a reversal of the situation.
Yeah, right.
But I think there's more opportunity for more understanding.
Yeah, right.
Because you understand that the other way was.
No, it was not good. To say the least.
What did Martin say? Black supremacy is just as bad as a white supremacy.
That's true.
So, but it's so sad, and you see it a lot, especially with what's going on in the country to now, especially with Donald Trump and the division that he has bright lined with a highlighter, that people are so just doggone willing to just look out for themselves. And it's, I got to look out for me. I got to look out for my people.
It's hard.
And it's hard to figure out, where does that balance? I've had these experiences in the past, and therefore this is the mindset I have. And so I think I get frustrated with my family sometimes because, they act in particular ways that I don't approve of. And it's like, in my head, it's if you don't act differently, if you don't act better, right? If you want to look at someone and go, oh, I don't like you, I'm not going to like you because you look a particular way, right? Then all you're doing is treating someone the same way that, so every time someone looks at you and does that to you, right? You're not making the situation better for yourself, for the legacy that you're leaving behind, your kids or their kids. Like, what message are you sending? Like, how is doing that making it better? How is being closed off going to make the situation as a whole for everybody, not just for you, but for your children and for your children's children better?
Right.
And so I think Martin Luther King called it the dilemma and the challenge, right? The dilemma is that you have people throwing stones in your face, right? And you have to figure out a way to live with people throwing stones in your face. And the challenge is, how do you get that bitterness, out of your heart, to be able to find a way to act so that you can make it better for yourself and for those future generations. And so,
there was actually a video. I don't remember the company, but it was a What Would You Do? It's a guy. It's like a reality show where he staged.
John Quinones?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he did one in a barber shop about the race, exactly what you were talking about. There's a barber shop, and there was an actress, a black girl or African-American lady. She's the actress. And she's posing as a barber. And there's another barber, a gentleman. He's an actor. And then a white girl comes in. And she comes to the barber and she kisses him and goes, "Hey, babe," like they're, and she's blonde haired, blue eyed, every stereotype you can think of the color white that we place on, Europeans or French or all that.
Typical
Caucasian, stereotype. So she's, cute and bouncy and has this pretty curly, blonde hair with curls and these crystal blue eyes. And she just comes in all bubbly. And this is like in New York, the most urban, like grungy barber shop. And she goes, "Hey, babe." And she sits down like, "Oh, I'm going to wait for you till you finish." And he's like, "All right, babe." And of course they're acting. And then the black actress girl goes, "That's your girlfriend?" And goes into this rant about interracial dating. And, she gets in, and she's acting, but she goes there and she's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I just, I don't know how he can be a black man with a white woman, And to see the reaction of the people that are in the barbershop, they don't know this is a setup. So to see the reactions, there was this one woman that said exactly what you said. It was an older lady. She actually was in local leadership. She was held a local office there in New York. And she was there to get her hair cut. And she stopped the girl, the black actress. And she goes, "Wait a minute, you're really going in on this girl, and why?"
Off base.
Yeah. And she just goes in with no, she did not hold back and force the girl to apologize. She goes, "No, you know what? It'll be better," in a good way. She didn't go off yelling and being just as hood as she was. Just very diplomatic, but very direct and very strong. And she said, "You know what? It'll make your soul feel better if you go up and apologize to her for what you did." And it brought the actress to tears, and she's just acting, and so the cameras come out and, they interview her about, how she feels and why she reacted that way. But I thought it was great. I'm going to find it so you can see it.
I haven't seen that that episode, but I have seen clips from that show.
Yeah, from that show. And, so it'll be great to watch. And some of the things that we're talking about, I want to make sure we get in the habit of posting it on the page now that we have more likes. So thank you for those of you who have, I sent a ton of invites out.
Thank
so
you
I was
guys so much for the
everybody
support.
like our page. So those of you who like our page, thank you so much. And I do truly appreciate all your help and support. But we want to make sure that we're getting more interactive. So the things that we're talking about, post them on the page so you guys can see them as well firsthand and get your feedback on how you feel about the topics that we're bringing up.
And get some interaction with you guys.
Some interaction, yes. That's what we need.
Make sure that we're not talking to ourselves in here.
I know. Those of you who are out there, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, I believe that we should cut to a break here, our final break. We're going to come back for our final segment. This has been the Rise and Shine 29 Morning Crew. Miz J.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Myself, London Mark, the man of the hour, the man with the plan, Mr. Reliable over here. I mean that in the best way possible.
Our Squidward.
Bro, she's not going to let it go.
That's his new nickname. I like Squidward. You turned my mic on.
Cut her mic.
It's okay. I'll use
You know what?
it as
I
mic.
didn't
You know
cut her
what?
mic.
You know what? You know what?
But I should.
Can we get that? We need to get that clip of saying that. Cut her mic.
You're right.
Cut her mic.
I think I will
Cut her mic, please.
I have to write that down.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness gracious.
We'll go to a break.
We'll be right back here on KXVS. This is the Rise and Shine 209 Morning Show.
Here at KXVS.